stand still. I might dine in San Francisco, dance all night in Rome. I go any freaking place I want to, and my live that brings me home. I got ladies by the
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are unpacking a pretty dense stack of sources. We've got videos, articles, social media posts, and they're all dedicated to dissecting one high-profile, very viral hip-hop incident in New York City.
And this wasn't just some physical scuffle. I mean, it became a flashpoint. It instantly reignited these historic beefs, pulled in some really aggressive media figures, and, it just fueled all this intense speculation about shifting alliances in the industry.
That's right. So for you listening, the mission today is, it's crucial. We need to filter through a ton of noise.
A deafening amount of noise. We're trying to separate the brief facts of what was, honestly, a pretty minor altercation from the layers and layers of denials, trolling, and, wild media coverage that just exploded within hours.
Yeah.
This whole thing, I mean, from the first punch to the last Instagram post, it's a perfect case study in how celebrity narratives get built and manipulated in real time.
Okay, so let's set the scene. This all goes down outside the Barclays Center in Brooklyn.
Right, after a huge R&B event, the Brandy and Monica show, it was part of the Boys Mind tour.
And the sources all confirm the place was packed with heavy hitters. We know Ja Rule was there, Fat Joe, Sierra.
And pretty surprisingly, Max B was actually brought out during Monica's set.
The profile of the people there just guaranteed that even a small incident was going to become a massive story.
Absolutely. So we're going to trace, 4 critical threads that turn this thing into a national headline.
Okay.
You've got Ja Rule's immediate counter-narrative, the role of these controversial bloggers, the involvement of his old rival, 50 Cent.
Of course.
And the really fascinating rumors about Max B that, might reveal some deeper industry shifts.
All right, let's start where every good story should. With the facts, or, what we can piece together as facts.
Messy as they are.
Exactly. The first critical correction is the location. The first reports were just completely wrong.
Yeah, they were all saying it happened at the Say Less restaurant.
But Ja Rule himself confirmed it. The altercation was actually backstage, or just outside the Barclays Center.
And that location difference is so key. It changes the entire context, right? It goes from a random public confrontation to something that feels more like a targeted backstage ambush.
Right. So that distortion, that's the first bit of truth that just got sacrificed for virality.
It is. Ja Rule did confirm on Twitter that something happened. He said, yes, some guys tried to jump me. But his response, it wasn't defensive. It was a masterful counter-narrative designed to just instantly downplay how serious it was.
And he didn't just deny it with text, right? He posted visual proof.
Yeah.
Anecdotal proof.
Exactly. He quoted that first breaking tweet, and he wrote, "I'm chillin' smoking a joint watching SVP with not a scratch on me."
That line is just classic psychological warfare. And for anyone listening who isn't, glued to sports, SVP is Scott Van Pelt.
SportsCenter anchor, yeah.
So Ja is basically saying, I am so unbothered by this. I'm at home, relaxed, watching mainstream TV, and I'm totally fine.
It's an immediate, really digestible piece of counter evidence.
And he didn't stop there. He followed it up with a video, right? Showing his face, clear as day.
Yep. Emphasizing no injuries. And he added that caption that really became the thesis for this whole saga.
Believe half of what you see and none of what you read. Be good over here.
By giving people that tangible, real-time proof against the claims of, a serious beating, he seized control of the narrative right away.
But it wasn't just about his physical state. The focus immediately shifted to, the loyalty of the people around them.
Or the lack thereof. Which brings us to Fat Joe.
Exactly. Fat Joe was there at Barclays. And that became a huge side story in the fallout.
Yeah, reports started surfacing almost immediately saying Fat Joe didn't help or that he kind of got out of the way.
Which, of course, became instant fuel for social media mockery.
And that's where you see the unwritten code of conduct of hip-hop come into play. Whether or not those reports about Joe are 100% true, the perception of inaction, that immediately puts his relationship with Ja Rule under this huge magnifying glass.
In that world, if your close friend is in a fight and you don't jump in, it suggests something's wrong.
It suggests a fracture, or at the very least that you're prioritizing, self-preservation over loyalty. And that becomes the news story.
That detail really just shows how these things get picked apart, not for the physical drama, but for the relational politics.
Absolutely. The media, the fans, they focus on those surrounding details because that's where the real industry dynamics are hinted at.
Okay, let's shift gears. Let's talk about the media wild card here, the person who just threw gasoline on the whole fire.
And turned it into a potential legal battle.
We have to talk about the blogger Tasha K. She was central to spreading that initial wrong story about the Say Less location.
What's so fascinating here, and what gives it this legal weight, is her history. I mean, she is notorious in celebrity gossip.
And wasn't she just successfully sued by Cardi B?
For a huge amount of money. For defamation. For spreading fake news.
So you'd think, after that massive legal and financial setback, she'd be more careful.
You would think. But instead, when Ja Rule corrected her, she didn't apologize. She didn't issue a correction. She escalated.
We got this property. I'm gonna say should have known better. Yeah. I'm gonna sing my prison song. You gonna come out and go with it. Go home, my brother.
Yo, it's Big Ed, the spokesman, man. We back. Another edition of Urban Politicians TV, UPTV. Make sure you stay on your pivot at all times, man. Had to come tap in as it started hitting the blogs all over Instagram and Twitter last night that Ja Rule was supposedly, allegedly jumped outside of the Say Less restaurant in New York. And it was crazy to me. It didn't sound right because I was like, did somebody just get shot up there? Chris Boyd, New York Jets player who was in critical condition, is doing now better and speaking and recovering. But I said, why would Ja Rule be at that same spot in the same week? Didn't make sense. But more details that came out and they started hitting the timeline as well. The reports was coming from Tasha K. She had said that she had this information. Then a video surfaced on the internet of this altercation, and it was not at the Say Less restaurant. It was actually at the Barclays Center where Monica and Brandy were having their show in New York for the Boys Mind Tour. And once it came out, Ja Rule denied it's not false. But in the midst of this, it started circulating that Max B entourage and crew had something to do with this as well. And I said, that makes no sense at all either. Dog just came home and he was actually part of the show. Monica brought him out as a part of her set to perform Sexy Love. I remember that one back in the day. I used to let that one ride off the show. I used to slide to it myself. But he came out and performed. In fact, Joe was back there as well. I think he was part of the set as well. And I'm like, what is really going on now? Well, Tasha K was the one bringing this up. She said she had sources there, but Max B let it be known, which I already knew. Bro just got out of jail out of doing all this time. He did not have nothing to do with this at all. And you can hear while the altercation is going on, Sexy Love is playing. He's on stage at that point in time. If you listen to it again in the beginning, he said, don't tie me or my people to anything negative. We grown. We on positive vibes only. And that's most definitely what Max B has been on. Dog is not crashing out. Dog is chilling. Dog is handling business. Was just out there in Harlem in his neighborhood, passing out food, looking out for the community.
She came back even harder, challenging him.
Yes. She basically said, as I said, Ja Rule's story developing, bottom line, I heard you got your you-know-what beat, ain't nobody lying on you.
And she was promoting a whole segment for her show, claiming she had receipts from her team about it.
And she was planning to mock Fat Joe for being, quote, too fat to help you fight last night.
It's just, it's pure sensationalism over any kind of journalistic integrity.
It is. But Ja Rule, he understood the game, and he used her own legal history as a weapon right back at her.
His counterattack was so fast and so brutal. He responded directly to her promo tweet.
And I'm quoting here. He said, all right, cool, you like getting sued. I see. That line is so significant because it points to this very modern dynamic, you know, the successful use of defamation lawsuits in this whole rapper versus blogger world.
The Cardi B case set a precedent.
It set a massive precedent. It showed artists that there is a clear legal path to fight back against this kind of unverified, gossip-based reporting.
So Ja is basically warning her, you're opening yourself up to another massive financial liability, and I've got the perfect legal blueprint to follow.
Precisely. It turns the whole celebrity gossip landscape into a minefield for these bloggers. They have to weigh the clicks against the very real risk of losing millions in court.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the most anticipated part of this whole rumor mill.
The arrival of 50 Cent.
You just can't talk about a Ja Rule altercation in New York without immediately thinking about their deep historic rivalry.
And the timing for 50 Cent, it couldn't have been better for him to just jump in and leverage the whole thing.
Right. We have to remember, this all happened right after Ja Rule went on Carmelo Anthony's podcast.
And called 50 Cent a copycat. Said he stole his style, his whole methodology. The tension was already sky high.
50 is just the absolute master of opportunistic trolling. He uses every single chance he gets to reignite this beef.
But what's interesting here is how indirect he was at first. It was almost like a proxy war.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he's more legally cautious now. So one person connected to 50's crew, they posted this GIF of someone running away with the caption, "Every time we catch you, this is going to happen."
So why not just tweet it himself? Is he trying to avoid legal trouble?
It shows a certain maturity in his trolling strategy, I think.
Yo.
By having a crew member post the really aggressive stuff, the message gets out there that this was, sponsored by his energy, but he doesn't take on the direct legal accountability.
He maintained plausible deniability.
While still getting to fully participate in the narrative, and then, of course, the inevitable happened.
He delivered his own final hilarious punchline on his personal Instagram.
Yep. He posted a photo and just zeroed in on Ja Rule's bald head. He wrote, "Now who would do a thing like that? Just punched him all in his milk dud head." Oh.
It's just classic 50, low risk, super effective, and it reinforces this long-running idea that Ja Rule is always the loser in their fights.
Exactly. The goal isn't to verify the facts of the fight. The goal is to use the incident to reaffirm the 20-year-old narrative that he's the dominant one.
Okay, so let's move to the final, and maybe the most complex layer of all this speculation.
Yeah.
The mention of Max B.
Right. The initial rumor was so specific. It was Max B just knocked out Ja Rule backstage goodnight.
And that rumor just took off instantly, mostly because Max B was actually there.
He was there. Monica brought him out to perform Sexy Love. But we have to think about his current situation, which is extremely sensitive.
Explain that sensitivity. Why was a rumor about him getting into a fight such a huge risk?
Well, Max B was only recently released from prison. He served time on very serious high-profile charges. So as a condition of his release, his legal footing is just incredibly precarious. He has to show good behavior. He has to avoid any negative altercations, any police contact, anything that could jeopardize his freedom and send him right back to jail.
So his denial wasn't just an option. It was a complete necessity for his freedom.
Exactly. He jumped on Twitter almost immediately and just shut it all down. He posted, "Don't tie me or my people to anything negative. We groan we on positive vibes only."
He had to distance himself completely.
100%. He had to protect his legal status.
And yet, even with that firm denial, the rumors just kept going. The media kept connecting him to the story. Why?
This is where the story shifts. It moves away from the alleged physical fight and becomes about underlying alliance speculation.
So the story isn't really the fight anymore. It's the political realignment that's happening in New York hip-hop, and the fight is just the excuse to talk about it.
Precisely. The sources all suggest Max B's name was pulled into this narrative because of his growing proximity to 50 Cent's world, the whole G-Unit camp.
You can kind of connect the dots.
You can. Max B has been seen publicly with Uncle Murda, who's a longtime G-Unit affiliate. In New York, just those visible associations, they fuel intense conversations about where Max B's allegiance is going to land as he rebuilds his career.
And then came the moment that really solidified this whole theory. A video surfaced right after the J. Rule incident.
A video of Max B on FaceTime with DJ Who Kid,
who was 50 Cent's original central DJ.
And on that very public call, Max B sends a very specific, almost coded message. He tells Who Kid to tell Boo Boo I said, "What up?"
And we confirm Boo Boo is 50 Cent's long-standing street nickname.
Yes.
That is heavy. So Max B wasn't physically involved, but that public interaction, asking the original G-Unit DJ to pass a message to 50 using his private nickname right after his rival's altercation, that's a massive strategic gesture.
It's an unofficial public declaration of respect, of alliance building. The theory is that this is a perfectly timed move to show alignment with 50's camp and, subtly side with the winning team in this beef, whether he was physically involved or not.
And in the world of New York hip-hop politics, that symbolism, that affiliation, it matters way more than the actual facts of a quick scuffle.
Way more.
Okay, so to recap the findings of this deep dive, the actual incident with Ja Rule, it was minor, but the narrative explosion was enormous.
Fueled by three powerful forces. You have the aggressive blogger who's ignoring legal risks for clicks.
You have the historic rival, 50 Cent, just maximizing the humiliation.
And then you have this deep industry alliance speculation focused on Max B and the G-Unit world.
The synthesis here seems pretty clear. This whole episode just shows how quickly perception, who's allied with whom, who's winning a feud, it matters more than any verifiable fact in our modern media landscape.
Exactly. Ja Rule can show his scratch-free face all he wants, but the narrative that he lost and that 50 Cent won, that's the one that sticks, because that narrative benefits the established power structure.
So what does this all mean for you as you consume these kinds of quick-hitting stories? I mean, consider this.
Max B was able to use Twitter to immediately issue a factual denial to protect himself legally.
But in the same hour, he makes this very strategic, very public gesture of alliance to 50 Cent's camp, using the incident as a launch pad.
So the question becomes, in this high-speed environment, is a quick denial of fact less powerful than a strategically timed, highly visible gesture of alliance?
Does the ability to instantly deny a rumor actually reduce the drama? Or does it just force these strategic players to find more sophisticated ways, like coded signals, to communicate power to the public?
Something to think about.
Definitely something to mull over as you think about what connections you see in public discourse and, more importantly, why those connections are being made. We appreciate you joining us for this deep dive.
Bruh, the internet is on fire today. Ja Rule allegedly got jumped last night, rumors flying everywhere, bloggers capping, people saying he got packed up outside a restaurant like leftovers, but Ja Rule hopped online immediately talking about ain't nothing happened to me. We gotta break this down. Now let's get into the facts. So here's the timeline. Last night, late as hell, a certain blogger, and y'all know who, came online screaming that Ja Rule got jumped pretty bad outside Say Less in NYC. Said man got folded up like a lawn chair. But Ja Rule woke up this morning, grabbed his phone and said, Tasha, why you lying? Yes, some dudes tried to jump me. No, it wasn't at Say Less, and I'm chilling, not a scratch on me. Bro posted a video cheesing, sipping a mug like he's recording a commercial for herbal tea industry. No injuries, no bandages, no neck breaks, none of that. Other reports say that the situation actually popped off backstage at the Brandy and Monica tour stop at Barclays, not outside no restaurant.
And so what I was told is that Ja Rule was about to go on stage and perform. He was walking past, there was a lot of people backstage. But from behind, somebody came up and attacked him from behind, and then they started to ambush him. Fat Joe did try to step in and kind of like diffuse the situation and break things up, and it was very fast. So everything happened quickly. He's okay. It was a little scuffle. It wasn't nothing crazy, and they don't know who it was, but they do know that it wasn't Max B. So they're saying at first the rumor was that it was Max B and his people, because Max B was at the concert last night, but according to first-hand witnesses, it was not Max B or any of his people. And so that's cleared up, but we'll keep you guys updated as more information is coming in.
There's a clip floating around of Ja getting held back, some commotion, but nothing showed him getting stomped out or mangled. Ja Rule basically said the whole thing is being exaggerated for clicks. He even told Shorty, you like getting sued, I see. When rappers start threatening lawsuits, you know they think somebody's lying on their name. And he captioned his video with the classic OG line, believe half what you see and none of what you read. Translation, y'all doing too much, I'm fine. Now this is where it gets funny. Somehow the internet dragged Max B into it like the Wave God had anything to do with Ja getting pressed. Max B jumped online quick, basically saying, don't tie me up or my people to any negativity. We grown. Positive vibes only. So Max is like, leave me out of y'all little love and hip hop street skits. No involvement, no beef, no wave splashing in this situation. And you know who showed up. Curtis Jackson Fit. Bruh smelled this story from across the universe. No facts needed, no context needed. All he saw was the headline, Ja Rule jumped, and he pulled out the meme generator. 50 hit Instagram doing what he does best, trolling, smirking, throwing a little subs. Didn't claim involvement, didn't say he knew who did it, but the energy was basically, look at God, won't he do it? This man been beefing with Ja Rule since the Ice Age and wakes up ready to joke. So here's the real. Ja Rule says dudes tried to jump him but failed. He said he's completely fine, no scratch, no bruise, nothing. The location and the story floating around apparently wrong. Max B says, not me, not my people, stop dragging my name. And 50 Cent is somewhere laughing loud enough to set off their car alarms. At the end of the day, Ja's walking around healthy, so whatever happened, it ain't go the way the internet said it did. Tasha K